Hey everybody, and welcome to week number 4. We're almost halfway through, believe it or not. So this week we are going to talk about product, primarily, with the first of the 4 Ps. But I also want to point out that you've submitted milestone 1. I'm going to look over those and give you some feedback right away, because that feedback's important from the standpoint of what you need to consider changing, and you can, of course, change it, kind of a redo, if you will, because you're going to use particularly in milestone 1, you're going to be using it for the rest of your research that you're going to do for the other milestones. And then, of course, that all is going to be turned in to your final project at the end of the class. So, keep that in mind. So I know I gave you the precursor announcement to milestone 2 already, so you got an idea, but what you're going to really need to use to flesh that out is coming up this week, where we're going to start talking about the products, okay? So that's where we're at. So, reviewing this, you need to do the Chapter 6, where you're going to get the overview of products, goods, and services. You want to do the quiz by this Thursday. And then also you're going to read about new products and innovation, which is an exciting part of product development these days. And it's changing rapidly. There's a lot of things going on. So that you need to do by next Sunday, the 29th. There's a couple of additional content things you really should take a look at. The future of product development is model-based, because that's applying this whole concept of AI and big data to product development. So it's an interesting thing to take a look at. And then the other thing is there's 7 product development trends, which it's an interesting read. So I would strongly suggest you go through it. So that's basically what you're going to do this week, and really start working on milestone 2 while you're doing that. Best of luck with this week. Let's take a look at Chapter 6. So again, we're moving away from STP, this segmentation, targeting, positioning part of the managerial flow chart, and we're moving on to the 4 Ps. This is where we put where the rubber meets the road. This is where we put definition of everything. So product is the first one we're going to look at. Again, it's very important to do. So you want to be able to recognize the terminology related to products, goods, and services. They vary. Well, you can picture all the different products and services that are out there. And you can say to yourself, well, that's a broad range. So we kind of categorize them a little bit, and that's what you want to be able to look at here. Identify the dimensions along which goods and services differ. This might have been helpful to know for your positioning statement, but it is really important that you understand that these dimensions that we're looking at here are really based on the choices we have as consumers. And it's important to recognize those and understand how they're looking at it. And then you want to discuss the complexity around the elements that make up what marketers offer and what customers buy. Complexity is, putting it mildly, there's a lot going on there, but you need to have a pretty good, solid understanding of how that applies to your product. So it's a good chapter to kind of base your thoughts on product on, and points of differentiation and all those things that really matter in terms of how successful you're going to be. So I know we skip a chapter. We're going to go to Chapter 8. So in Chapter 8, we're going to talk about new products and new product development and things like that. So, and they're very important to be able to do. So we're going to talk about why new products are important. I'm just going to take a sideways step here right now. A lot of technology companies have the objective of their product development people that 75% of their revenues, and I'm using that 75% as sort of an average, of their revenues have to come from products that were developed in the last 12 months. That's pretty steep, and you can appreciate that there's a lot goes into that. But that shows how important it is to keep reviving and revitalizing your product line and coming up with new products. So very, very important that you do that. How does marketing develop new products for their customers? And we can talk about all the different things that go into it. Again, as I've described before, this is happening at hyperspeed compared to what it was when I first got into marketing. So these things are happening rapidly, and you're doing with real-time data. So it really, really changes the way all these things are done. So what you're going to read is not inaccurate, but consider that going forward is very condensed. You're also going to talk about what the product life cycle is, which is really important to think about. That's a concept that's not been around for a long time, but it's not wrong. It's still there, and it matters. It may work on different dimensions right now, but in terms of the time that it takes for products to run through the life cycle. But having said that, it's really, really important that you understand what's involved with that, because it kind of describes how you might manage it. And then you're going to talk about how do new products and brand extensions fit into marketing strategy, thinking about it from a strategic point of view. And all those things are really, really, really important. So as it stands, I'm just going to do a sideways note here. That's the consulting that I do is largely based on this stuff. So I've done this many, 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 many times. I don't know if there's enough manys, but I've done it a lot. And there's good ways to go about doing this and not so good ways to go about doing it. So at the end of the chapter, you want to be able to discuss why new products or innovations are key to marketers. You can describe how marketers and customers create new products. Explain the product life cycle. Describe the role of new products in the bigger marketing strategy picture. And discuss trends that affect types of new products that can succeed. This is everything said there like it's very formulaic. It's not. There's a lot that goes into it, and you really, really have the real challenge is to gain an understanding from the information that you have, but also being kind of fleet-footed, and this is my way of putting it, being quick to change and react. We live in a time where the changes to manufacturing, changes to product design, specifications, things like that, are really can be done very rapidly. There was a time where that was a very arduous process. Now it's fairly quick. So you have to adapt to that and be able to make changes quickly as you learn new things, as you try new things. It's just a very iterative process. So anyway, it's an exciting part of marketing, one I spend a lot of my time in. So I can attest to that. It's fun. It's a lot of fun, but it's also very challenging. So, good luck with this chapter, and good luck with this week, and good luck with Milestone 2. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask in terms of what you're being asked to do. I don't want you to overthink Milestone 2. I know I did a separate video on this, but I don't want you to overthink Milestone 2. I don't want you to get so involved in the product that you can't possibly do it well. Keep it simple. I guess my best way of putting that is don't overcomplicate it. Keep it real simple. Don't try to invent anything new. just say, okay, this is what I think we need to do, based on the needs of our target market. So, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and Best of luck.